Hello and welcome to the tutorial of utilizing the MindAffect software with the G.tec amplifiers and preferably g.USBAMP USB amplifier and G.Nautilus, I suppose. Before you can begin trying to configure the software and trying to run the thing, be sure that you have the MindAffect original software installed. So this is a separate framework. You can find it on their original site and you can see the installation here. So what you require is a working Python environment. So you just clone the MindAffect package from the Git. I really advise you to do so without like trying to install it via the pip, because if we clone it from the Git, you'll be able to modify the files directly without like having to utilize some other tactics. We clone, we unpack everything to whatever place you want it to be. Then you install the environment by navigating to the folder. So for example, you have this folder where you have installed your MindAffect. You need the PyMindAffect BCI. You copy all of this. You just open up your Anaconda prompt. I prefer to use the Anaconda prompt. If you have the folders set to other directory, you can change the disk via the standard command as shown here. So you just navigate to this folder, you utilize the command shown here. I don't have to use it because I have it already installed, but it's fairly simple. And this is how you install the MindAffect. After that, you come back and you need to ensure that you still have your Gnet Access client and server software provided by the G.tec. It should be provided. You should probably contact them if it was not supplied to you. And also ensure, I forgot to note that you have the standard connection set so that you have cables and the USB USB flash drive from the G.tec already set up to your computer. You don't like you just connect them. There's no need to like set up. So I mean like just connect them. Thirdly, you have to install and download the LSL streamer by Chadwick Bolai. So this application directly allows us to directly stream the data. You just download the release here. So do you need access WinZip? Or you could also download it here in case, for example, the author decides to discontinue or like delete his repository. I've just made a separate copy for that in case something pops up like that. So you also download the thing and you don't have to install, you just unpack it actually. So you just unpack it. You unpack it to any folder you want and you have this. Okay. I'd suggest downloading directly from the Google Drive because what I have here is that I have already configured the application so that it works with the standard 32 amplifier setup that we were using for the motor imagery. And so what you need to do now is, first of all, you launch the Gnet Access and you do the standard scan and you should find the devices. On the top, you should always have your master USB amplifier. If you have multiple of them, for example, if you have 2 or 3 or 4, you need to have the master USB amplifier, which is going to send the signals on the upmost top. You can change the positions by dragging them, so it's fairly simple. Then you hold Control if you have multiple devices, and you just press the connect button, and uh, you can see you have connected to it. Um, so you click the config device button, and you can see that we have our 32 channels, and we can actually apply different bandpass filters here in different ranges, uh, and select the frequency at which we are sampling our data. The original author had suggested to not go over 512, because otherwise there are like latency issues and artifacts. But I guess like keeping it at 256 is more than enough for the time being. And so if you have downloaded the configuration file supplied by the original Google folder, you can directly load the configuration by pressing the load config button and then pressing the update config. And you can see that you have loaded the channels here. And those channels have to be in a way like that you have originally connected them to the amplifiers. In case you have a different sensor alignment, you just change the channel names if you want to, and that's it. Just make sure that all of your ticks are set like that. You could also add a common ground, but I did not add it for the time being. So you have those 32 channels, and now you say, okay, let's start streaming, right? You can press streaming right now, and it should start streaming. At first, it starts with a like relatively low sample rate, but it's just gets up to the 256 after a while. After a few seconds, you need to account for that. And now you can navigate to your MindAffect folder. Also, I think yeah, there's a launch guide txt in the LS in the same like gnet access RAR archive. uh, and so it was a custom one. So it just says what you should probably do. So when you launched the GNAT Access streaming or the lab streaming layer, you just navigate to your MindAffect folder, which I have done already with your command prompt. Be sure that you are in the actual environment that has MindAffect installed. And basically, everything is relatively simple. You just write Python, and you import the MindAffect online BCI, for example, uh, and you load the configuration file. The configuration file is in the Google folder as well. So let me show it. Um, where is it? So we have the like random configuration file. So as you can see, if we compare two different configuration files, the original configuration file was set to acquire the data from the BrainFlow framework by getting a certain board and using a certain serial port. But since we are using lab streaming layer, so we set the acquisition to LSL, and we have the acquisition arguments of the port that we are using here in the GNAT Access software for the server. So this is the server port. And we also have our channels, which were already configured. If you have a different setup of channels, you just need to make sure that those channels um, are the same. And also be sure that you use double quotation marks because this is a JSON file and it has to be processed correctly. So you load the noise tag BCI, and so after you've loaded, all you need to do, you can see it in the launch guide, you need to say, okay, MindAffect online BCI run configuration. So it opens up the configuration file, prepares the software, and um, just needs a few seconds to make sure that it's runs. It should be any moment. It's starting up. While it's starting up, you can see that there's like tons of things here you can do. So I was using the quick start guide uh, to actually like not launch this particular thing. So you can see that like the same noise tag BCI, but we have like noise tag BCI 2 because I modified it. And so yeah, so this is like a standard signal quality check supplied by the MindAffect software. And so we have, see, it launches and we can check the electrode quality by pressing the 0. And as you can see, we have our 32 channels fully set up and getting certain signals. Let me pick up the sensor, I mean the headset, and do certain things to it, like drag it around, and you can see that there's some difference in the signals. So it actually acquires them without any problems. You just need to put the headset on you and ensure that the connectivity is okay. You need to have the impedance of the green. So yeah, this is like 0 channels, and you can do calibration and whatever else that was supplied by the MindAffect. So yeah, so thank you very much for your attention, and let me know if you have any questions. You can contact me via my 2 emails. It's like in case the email gets cut off. So this is standard user university email that I have, and I also have my personal email. You can contact me there as well if there are any problems. So yeah, thank you, and yeah.